How you doing?
Yeah, good. Not too bad at all. Not too
good.
Okay, so for everybody watching, this is Jesse from Brown and Forest Somerset Smokers. Okay, and he's going to tell us all about cold smoking and hot smoking and what they do down there. He sent us both some samples of the fine cooked up ingredients or smoked up ingredients, and we also have a giveaway as well for one of the veritable feast boxes as well, which is what Jack's got. I went for something a little bit different. I wanted to try the black pudding. Yeah. So I'm going to make a little smash Sliderberg, Jack, whilst we talk away, mate. So
look at you, mate, getting all chefy. I love it.
All right, so perhaps we should let then Jesse from Brown and Forest tell us a little bit about the history of the place and what got you into smoking, mate.
Yeah, sure. Really, the essence of us, we're small. I hate the word artisan, accurate. We're just small batch food, hot and cold smoking, not producing for multiples or big lumps of food. And really, we got into it. It was here. We bought it 16, 17 years ago, just a mail order business then. And really, the hot smoking thing wasn't really going on then at all. So we do both sorts. So if I explain briefly what we do with the hot smoking, what we're doing, and all the barbecue guys, you'll all be doing that really and mucking around with those sorts of things. So it's no different really. We're roasting something, we're cooking something over an open fire, and then using that fire and all its flames and its embers to then smoke the product by dousing it down with very fine oak dust. And that produces a huge amount of smoke, which then gets drawn. So this is the hot smoker you can see behind me. It's sort of a cast iron TARDIS, about sort of 6 foot by 8 foot. And then with a 15-foot flue that goes straight through the roof and out of the roof. And so obviously gives us a really good draw all the time. And then what we do is we roast that product. Doing duck breasts, for example, we get about 60 duck breasts in there over the flame, about 5 foot above the flame, and give them a really hard roast over them till they're cooked, and then kill that fire back using the oak dust. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Exactly that, my friend. Exactly that. So then, exactly. So then all we do is show them the smoke. I think the essence really of what I want to do is, you know, I'd spend a lot of time sourcing amazing food from people, the clever people who produce delicious food, be that duck, be that pork, who just are brilliant at what they do. And I'm not doing anything magical. We're just adding a bit of smoke and an old way of cooking food to sit alongside some fantastic ingredients in the first place. And so the crucial for me is there's no point in me producing the most stunning duck and sourcing great duck and then smoking it so hard that all it tastes of is a smoked lozenge. And I want you to taste the duck first and go, crikey, and then you get a little bit of smoke next to it. And I think that is probably what sets us apart from a lot of other people. We don't search for shelf life. So obviously there's salt involved in everything to do with smoking, but we don't smash it with salt in order to give ourselves a 6-week shelf life. We just have 3-week shelf life as a rule. And hopefully what you get, whether you eat it hot or cold, tastes fantastic. And then you get a bit of smoke behind it, not I'm having an overload of smoke and salt and really can't taste much else. So that's hot smoking in its essence. The clever bit, I guess, is the bit that guys at home and with barbecues could really do is just mucking about with brines. Rather than dry cure everything, which means rubbing salt just into the product, we use brine, and water, and then you can have some fun. So for our pork belly and our pork tenderloins, we use a pork brine that we came up with, which is really an old-fashioned bacon cure. So some juniper berries, salt, brown sugar, then some water. Instead of it all being water, we use about 60% of the liquid will be Somerset cider, and then cider there as well. And then the water. So what you've done there, effectively, is it a brine or is it a marinade? Well, it's pretty much a halfway house for the two, but it's the bit that you can do very small batches of and make your food taste, you know, just add and then you know, some things work and some things don't. But so we do that for our meat brines. We'll use sherry, we'll use brown sugar, we'll use quite a lot of seasoning for our chicken and duck, venison and lamb, which we also hot smoke. But you can do that at home. And then things like the hot smoked salmon, that's an old Canadian pure brine that we found, Michael Brown, who I bought the business off, found 30 odd years ago. And that's got soya, brown sugar, white vinegar, water, salt, a bit of lemongrass, and you can really taste that. It doesn't mask the salmon, but it does add something to it. So I think on the basis of the stuff that you can do at home on a hot smoking front, you know, just on your barbecues, that's where you can have some real fun.
What sort of temperatures are you talking at for the hot smoke and for the cold smoke? Because I think people at home will really be interested in that, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what temperatures to cold smoke at.
With hot smoking, what I'm doing is I'm cooking something, I'm roasting something over an open fire. What goes in there comes in raw, comes out cooked. So we've cooked that to at least 73 degrees, you know, as far as the laws of food laws of this country. You know, so you can go as hot as you like. If we're going to do pork belly and we want to get the crisp on, we'll go a lot hotter than that, obviously, to get the fat to do what we want it to do. But with into smoker as raw, what comes out is raw. So temperatures be between 15 and 23, 25 degrees. The moment you get above 25 degrees, you become a very, very, very slow cooker.
Right.
So if you've got fantastic smoked salmon, and let's say we're having a balmy summer, which we don't have, but let's say we have 30 or not, we stop smoking salmon, or we hang buckets of ice in our cold smoker, because if it gets too warm, what you end up producing is ever so slow salmon. And smoked salmon is a raw product. That's why it's got that amazing texture. That's why you can carve it like you can. So cold smoking is that you're smoking something, you are not cooking. So then, but things like haddock, smoked bacon, cheese, bacon and haddock, we've cold smoked them, we've cured them, and then we've cold smoked them. But you know, the customer will then do something with them. They will cook them before they eat them. And that sort of makes the point of what goes in is raw, what comes out is raw. And then you can marry the two systems up. So with things like our lamb fillets or our venison, pork tenderloins, we put them through a cold smoker for a night, give them their, and then all we do is roast them over the fire in the hot smoker. So you sort of married the two systems together like that. But they are different. Okay.
Now, there seems to be sort of no end to what you're smoking there. I mean, I'm trying your smoked black pudding here. We've got, there's almonds and cashews you've got going here. I think you even sell salts. You know, what's the guide to what you can smoke or can't smoke?
Well, no, nothing. I mean, to be honest, you know, about what, you know, from my point of view, you know, it's business. So if I things like Stilton, for example, Stilton and Brie having a dinner party 5-6 years, given one job, and that was to provide the cheese board by my lovely wife. And funnily enough, the one job I was given, I'd completely forgotten to do.
They never ask you again then.
I personally cannot bear unripe brie. So I thought, I know, I'll just stick it in the cold smoker, just put a bit of gentle heat through it, not intending really to smoke it. And I did, and it came out, and everybody tried it. Oh my Lord, that's unbelievable. So it was just a happy, and now we sell a huge amount of smoked brie and smoked still. I mean, cheese will always lend itself to it because it's got that inherent salt content to it.
Yeah.
And smoke, whether it's edible or not, is down to you. But I mean, really, as long as you've got and some mix of getting smoked, you can smoke it. I mean, people don't traditionally smoke beef, but we've played about with it a lot now. I know it's becoming trendy now. People seem to have discovered it, but we like the chuck cut. So you take a whole chuck of beef, brine it, and then cold smoke 3 nights, then just roast it over the fire, and it makes the most unbelievable, almost that sort of classic New York pastrami.
Ooh.
Oh,
We're going to have to give this one a go, Jack. I haven't heard of that one. Cold smoke, brining, and then cold smoking beef, then cooking it.
That's really what pastrami is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I suppose you're right. You effectively made your own pastrami out of a different cut, because pastrami is usually brisket, isn't it? You know, the flat part of the brisket. So yeah, why not experiment? As you say, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like,
the dog had a wonderful time, and you know, we
You mentioned you predominantly use oak. Do you ever experiment with any other woods?
We have done over the years. We used to smoke a lot of eels, which sadly we can't anymore. And we always used beech for eels because it was a gentler smoke. So
right.
Nuts really, but beech is a less tannin, so it just gave you an even gentler smoke than oak, which is quite harsh. So it gets quickly. But then the fruit woods are amazing. You can use apple and cherry, but they're so strong. You know, if you smoke food with it, you could try and smoke pork over some apple logs, but you would really make the food start to taste of apple and not of what.
Yeah.
There are some amazing African woods, obviously, Danubian, those sorts of woods. Oh my Lord, I genuinely have.
Look at the size of them pickles you got on there.
Hang on, if I turn it around that way, there you go. The pickles are smaller now. How's that?
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Where's the cheese though? You've got no cheese.
I'm not putting any cheese on these. I'm letting the flavour of the beef. It's Welsh Wagyu mince, and then I want to have a really good taste of this smoked black pudding in there, and just a bit of pickle on the top to take the edge off it. But no, I'm not adding cheese to these ones. No, I don't think it needs cheese. What do you think, Jesse? What do you think? What do you think, mate?
I mean, it's amazing. We've got a shop and little cafe on site, and we've done something ridiculous like 80 or 90 full Englishes this morning, and the black pudding is just the star. People adore it, and again, what we find with smoking so often is people say, "Oh no, I don't like Stilton," and then they have smoked Stilton. Oh, I love that, or they don't like. Love that. Really strange. That's the thing. So you get that a lot. Chicken would be the all-time classic. I think chicken has that. You know, the amount of people when we have open days down here and show people around that come and go, "Oh no, I don't like smoked chicken." It's always just, you know, it's like an old nun's shoe. It's dry and it's chewy and it's just grim. And of course, they've had smoked chicken that's been invected and just smashed with electric heat, and they rip the skin off. For me, we keep the skin on everything that we be it fish or meat. We keep the skin on it because that's where the flavour is. But most importantly, it's its coat that stops it drying out. And we all know, I mean, you guys know better than me, if you cook something over an open fire, the greatest thing it does all is it keeps the moisture in the food. And so smoked chicken that we do, we roast over the fire and people eat it and we keep the skin on and make no apology for that. And people, oh my Lord, it's a completely different product. So I think it's always one of those. And the other thing we find, people don't know, you know, I don't eat hot food. I don't like hot smoked food. I don't like spicy food. I mean, literally, they make that connection because I get hot smoked salmon. They think it's a whole load of jalapeno in it. Cook it. So sometimes you ought to just call it, you know, cooked smoked salmon, which is obviously not quite so cool. That's one of the people make. And I think the biggie for me is if you buy a smoked salmon, you can slice it and have it cold and it's fabulous. Or put a bit of foil over it or stick it on the barbecue and heat and again and have it as a hot main course. I mean, anything hot smoked, you can either have cold, but you can heat it and have it as a hot. And I think that's, again, you know, something people should try. And I guess, you know, your audience particularly is going to do a lot more of that because of the barbecue connections. You know, we do scallops here. I've mucked about for a long time with Tim, and I adore scallops. And like lots of some of the things I do, I was like, gee, but it's sacrilegious to put a smoke on a scallop. What are you doing? because I thought we'd destroy the flavour and the sweetness of what a scallop is. But
Yeah,
actually,
because it's really delicate, I suppose, aren't they?
over the fire, really smash them over the fire for about 2 minutes. Literally show them a bit of smoke, and then sell them as a finished product. And then those on a barbecue, you just smash them onto the barbecue for a couple of seconds, put them heat for it, and they're a fantastic product.
So what
I've come across smoked oysters. Sorry, Jack.
Scallops are quite a large oyster.
Pardon?
So what you've effectively done is made a gift box so people can try a bit of everything you do, haven't you? So,
Yeah.
as you say, you've got a selection of smoked salmon, hot smokes. You can cook it and flake it into a dish, or you've got duck and chicken, like make a salad or reheat it. So you can try a bit of everything in the box. So that's really good.
I mean, do you want to have a quick look at the smokers, if we can open them up for you so you guys can see?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Big sort of cast iron TARDIS. Tim, my beautiful assistant, is now going to move the camera. So if you feel a bit nervous, I apologise.
No pressure.
So this is the hot smoker. As I said before, 6 foot by about 8 foot. I'm going to open the door. We've got some hot smoked sides of trout in here, which we've roasted over the fire. And they've had, just before we went live, we doused the fire down with oak dust. So here's the oak dust I was talking about. And we doused the fire down with it and produced a huge amount of smoke. So these boys have been out, be done. So I'm going to open the door and you'll see there'll be a lot of smoke, but you'll see the trout and we'll bring some out. Whole smoked trout. So all we've done is have their guts out and we've just done them in the round. We've done them in the hole. So here we go. And I guess in lots of ways, on the barbecue front, this is really showing you that really it's a whacking great cross between a barbecue and an Italian pizza oven, really. So they're done, those chaps, and they'll have that wonderful colour. And then we talk about the fire a bit. Literally, as you can see, it was just a big log fire in there. And if we open the blowhole, just like your wood-burning stoves at home, just open your blowhole, that'll let the oxygen in, and you can see how the smoke goes for it then.
Yeah, instantaneously.
About there, lots of flame, and then roast them, and then kill them back with that smoke. Well, we'll just shut that down now. And that's why I like fishing bonfires for a living.
Just about to see ya.
And no one lets me in anywhere. So that's the hot smoker. The mist will clear shortly. And in here we've got obviously classic smoked bacon. Obviously some people love green bacon, some love smoked. We've got hanging in here. We've got sides and some streaky bacon. So you'll see. So there you go. So we got the middles here. There's your middle cut. And we've got streakies, whole sides of streakies hung at the back.
Wow.
Like,
And then on the bottom, down here, all it is, and this is, you just think about this, scaling it down for barbecues. That's all I would say. It's just a path of oak dust, but it could easily be hickory or whatever, whatever wood or flavour floats your boat, really. And it's just a slow burning path of oak dust that tapers along like a slow burning fuse, producing huge amounts of smoke, but no heat. So that's why it's cold smoking. There's nothing getting cooked in here. It's all been cured with salt and brown sugar and juniper, but now it's just sat there. It's room temperature, and it's just going to sit there for 3 days, and we'll just keep it going and extending it. And then that just produces the most amazing colour. And they'll come out on Monday morning and ready for slicing and dicing.
Amazing.
Incredible.
So that's sort of it. Do you have any questions you'd like to answer, or have I not covered stuff you wanted me to talk about?
Well, wow. No, I'm really impressed, mate. Really impressed. Like, maybe the question we have had from someone was, if people wanted to get into cold smoking and sort of start to try stuff out, well, what would be the easiest way for them to how can they make a start? What food, what gear, what would be a good way to start?
I think let's go for a meat product that's really easy to put a smoke into to start with. A chicken breast or a duck breast, something like that, or even a sausage. A nice, a well-made sausage will have some salt in it. So that's quite a classic one to have a go at. And really, people are obsessed with salt when they start thinking about smoking. Really, salt, you have to have some, because it's the salt that makes the smoke suck into the food through the food. But you don't need loads. And especially if you're doing it for yourself at home, you don't need a shelf life. So I'd go 50-50 salt and sugar as a start. Caster sugar, nice, good quality brown sugar. And then put a bit of liquor in if that's what you like, and 50-50 with a bit of liquor. So let's go back to the pork one, let's say. So let's say we get a nice bit of pork belly, okay? So easy, you all know barbecue. Let's go 50-50. So let's go a pint of water, a pint of cider. Any cider's fine. And then a few juniper berries, crush them, make sure you crush them, put them in the mix. And then I'd go low brown sugar, okay? Sounds quite a lot. Then just mix it all in a bowl, and then just try. Let's say we do the pork belly, pop it in, let it sit in there for 10-15 minutes. That will have had enough salt by then. And then just whack it on the barbecue. And you will then, to smoke it, depending on how you do barbecues, I would just kill the, if you're cooking on a live flame, just get some oak dust and get it, anywhere really. Just douse the fire down, roast it, then just kill the fire down, because it will stop it cooking really, but it will produce a huge amount of smoke. And all your wonderful barbecues have all the vents that allow smoke to draw over that food.
Yeah.
10 minutes, quarter of an hour, no more than that. And then like I would say with anything, nothing to do with smoking, let it rest. Please let it rest for at least 10 minutes before you have a go at chowing on it. And then, but that, I would say it's that easy. Cold smoking's a bit trickier because you need some sort of container. You can definitely barbecues that you can use. And I think with that, I would always go, obviously start seafood. Mackerel is classic. And I say because it's inherently got salt. So if you're going for a freshwater fish, you're going to have to put some salt into that fish. For me, if you've got some fresh mackerel, you fillet it out, you don't really need salt. It's got the salt in it. So then if you want to put a bit of extra in it, maybe some salt and some pepper, but I'm only talking seasoning them out, bit of brown sugar. I do think it needs the sweetness. And then just in a little sort of mix, then stick it on, and for hot smoking, and then just pop it on your barbecue and cook it. But it will take that smoke when you produce it. Cold smoking, you can use your barbecues, but you've just got to keep that temperature, as we talked about. You don't have to do it for overnight like we do, but I would say you need 2 hours of smoke for it to get into it, because you're not cooking. If you guys are all master barbecues, but if you can keep that temperature somewhere, but just no hotter than 25 degrees, so it's just sitting there. It's warm enough for the energy to do its thing and for the smoke to get into the food, and then do it. One barometer, which is great, is a piece of nuts. But if you're going to let's say you're going to try and cold smoke some salmon fillets or something like that, put a bit of cheese on the other side of the barbecue. If the cheese has started to melt, it's got too hot. If that cheese just sits there and takes the smoke, then you're absolutely bang on. That will work beautifully. And just sort of almost use, an underripe piece of brie or just a bit of cheddar, next to it as it colours up. If it isn't getting soft and sweating, you've got just the right temperature. And that's quite a nice little barometer to do at home, I think.
Brilliant. And how long, so for example, you provide some nice smoked cheddar in your box. How long would you let that rest before you sense it out?
We'll with everything, once we've smoked it, we then put it in a chiller in the fridge. Whether that's fish, meat, cheese, thing needs to settle down again.
Yeah.
Cold smoked fish, because the carve quality comes with the flesh settling down. And so I would always let things sit for, just 12 hours in the fridge afterwards. and then the flavour will carry on getting into the product rather than sitting on the outside of it. But if you salt it in any way, so we've all had that barbecue moment where you get a bit of chicken off the back of the barbecue, and it's late at night, you probably had too many beers, you know it's cooked because it's been there for 4 hours. You think, a bit of chicken before I hit the hay, and it's bitter. It's actually bitter to taste. That is because that's what smoke tastes. It is bitter. If that chicken, before you put it on the barbecue and add a gallon of ale, had been in a salt solution or a brine, it wouldn't have the black film on the top. The smoke would have gone into it.
Right.
Use some sort of salt or brining when you're going to smoke food.
Okay. Wow. Okay. No, this is great, mate. No. How do we find out more from you? How can if you got
basically just if you buy every product I sell, unbelievable. But you know, we will always, you know, we do it a lot. We supply oak dust for a lot of people that are having a play at home and doing stuff like that. Down here in the West Countries, a lot of people have small holdings and they have 3 or 4 pigs and they have a few sheep, and we do a lot of that for helping people, you know, create home smokers effectively. Because half the fun of growing amazing food is having the fun of playing with it before you eat it and eating it a million different ways. So, I mean, one of the classics we've done recently is pork fat, just pork fat, cured it, sort of 3 kilo lumps of pork fat, cured it, dry cured it, with salt and sugar, let it rest, and then smoke it for 3 nights. And then this lovely chef's doing this. He's then using 10% burger mix of smoked pork fat.
Oh.
So putting in 10% of it is smoked pork fat blended in with his mince and stuff. And it's a, you know.
Yeah, I bet that adds a lovely flavour.
Yeah.
Say with beef tallow, you could do it with beef tallow, couldn't you? It makes them, you know, Hillary's making smash burgers. Yeah, like put it in the mix of that. Yeah, it's giving me some good ideas, this conversation. I like it.
Oh.
Wow.
All right. Well, we've I've got a little sample here, and I'll send some photos. I've cooked it up again. I'm going to have a taste of that. I nicked some out of the other burger, and it actually tastes really, really good. I really enjoyed it, mate. You really do get the smoky flavour. Even from here, I can smell the smoke flavour coming out of it. So, thank you, mate. We have maybe we should wrap up. Is there any other questions you're thinking of, Jack? Or
no, honestly, I think you've covered it like amazingly well. Like you literally explained everything I was thinking in my head that I wanted to ask. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on and showing us the smokers. And wow, yeah, I can see people are basically commenting as we're going along, like, you know, really interesting, really informative. So thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And then the last thing we have to add is we've got a winner for the prize, the veritable box, and we'll get in contact with them and send you the details, mate. But it's someone called Big Al's Garden Kitchen. How's that?
I like it.
No trouble at all. You guys that, we'll send it to him when he wants it delivered. Yeah, I hope he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before you go, just tell everyone where we can find you, website, where can we buy your products, and what an amazing Christmas gift, like getting one of these. Yeah, I'd be well happy.
On here, obviously, but it's www.brownandforest.co.uk, and that's the website. Just had a new website. 6 months getting that done, but it's fab. Really chuffed with it. Or you just ring us in the office and we take orders, and we have a mail order catalogue that we can send out to you in the old-fashioned way. No trouble at all. We're on obviously Insta, Twitter, Facebook. So you know, get in touch and we can give you as much information. Hopefully, even sell you a little bit of something if you like.
For sure. I'm sold, mate. I'm sold. This is really lovely. Thank you very much, mate. And thank you very much for your time and showing us your smoker and telling us about what you do. I found it fascinating, mate. Jack, I mean, you know.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's given me some good ideas to, because when I first started barbecuing, I started by cold smoking. I did salt and cheese, and I kind of just stopped doing it. But yeah, it's given me a bit of a kick up the bum to get going again. Yeah, so.
Good. Don't get too good at it, Jack. All right. Okay.
I think my wife would kill me if I had one of them in the garden. Don't worry.
All right then, mate. Well, thank you very much for that, and we'll get this posted up, and we'll put it online on our Instas and up on YouTube, etc. So, thanks again, Jesse of Brown and Forest, and we'll hopefully we'll hear from you soon and catch up soon, mate.
Perfect, lovely. Take care, fellas.
Cheers.
No worries.
Thank you.
Remember to save it at the end. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Cheers.
Save it.